So one of the things they tell you, or one of the pieces of advice you can find online when you are starting a YouTube channel, is to try and focus on one thing and become really, really good at that thing. Well, I say, fuck that, I'm going to make the videos I want. So, this is a video which will almost certainly not be of any interest to the people who already subscribe to me, but I wanted to make it. And this is probably going to turn into an occasional series, which I'm going to call Mining for Diamonds. Because I like searching out at the really obscure, really cheap end of the cinematic spectrum, because sometimes you can find some gems. And that's kind of what I've got here, although this was a special circumstance. I actually saw the film I'm about to review at a preview screening with a Q&A in my local cinema, because I always check the listings for question and answer sessions in Bath, where I live, and Bristol, the nearest big city. And when I saw a Q&A for this particular film, I was intrigued for reasons I'll get into. But yes, in this video, I will be reviewing the folk horror found footage film DAGR.
Okay, so we have arrived at a slightly creepy but very large mansion.
Babe, this is really quiet.
It is a bit quiet.
The Druids were much more peaceful people than the early Christians would have us believe. However, there was this one man, Lord Somerton, who was not so gentle.
Hi. Well, hello, fellow hosters. I'm Thea. Jokes. This is Louise. Talking about Yehan.
And in this episode, we're going to be posing as sweet little caterers
It's crazy.
at a wanky commercial shoot.
Hello?
Whoa, Thea. Well, nobody's here.
We've got loads of cameras for this.
Hey guys, we've made it.
Spy cams galore.
It's gonna be so sick!
Oh my god.
Look at all of this stuff.
Matt!
What is that?
I want to go.
Babe, that's not real. That's just all part of it. It's definitely fake.
Oh my god, it's following us. With the door I'm gonna get you out of here, don't worry.
Now, when I saw the Q&A for this film DAGR listed, I saw that it was going to be given by the director of the film, Matthew Butler-Hart. And that was a name that was familiar to me because I kind of interacted with him a couple of years ago. The first time I started really delving into the V.O.D world and trying to find these obscure little films was during lockdown, because I was a film podcaster, I couldn't go out to the cinema, so let's find something to review. So I started digging around in the bottom corners of the V.O.D platforms. And one of the films I found that intrigued me was a film called INFINITUM, Subject Unknown.
In the world of quantum science, anything that can happen will happen.
The exploration into the capability of the human mind is not a new one.
Hello?
It is only now, however, that we are able to see behind the curtain.
Every choice you make creates infinite possibilities.
Infinite possibilities. I'm trying to get to this research center. I don't know why, but I think it might help.
We are on the cusp of propelling human evolution to a staggering new dimension.
What the hell have you done, Professor?
Now, clearly, given that trailer, one of the things that intrigued me was the fact that both Ian McKellen and Conleth Hill, two highly regarded actors, were on it, and Ian McKellen is prominently placed on the poster. Now, I knew that this was most likely the kind of situation where a big-name actor shows up for one day's work, gets paid, and then buggers off, particularly since this was a film which was entirely shot in lockdown. And that is what it is. I mean, literally, both Ian McKellen and Conleth Hill are phoning in their performances. They shot video themselves in their homes, directed by Matthew Butler-Hart. But what Infinitum Subject Unknown is mostly about is Tori Butler-Hart, Matthew's wife, on her own. She's basically the only person who appears on screen. And given that this was shot during lockdown, they go around London, which is entirely empty, and it's a really eerie atmosphere. And I liked Infinitum Subject Unknown. I thought it was very clever. I thought it outstretched its abilities and its budget a little bit too much. I think there's certain bits in that which are, to this day, I think don't quite work. But in general, I think Infinitum Subject Unknown is a very, very good film. And I said as much in a tweet, which I rather cheekily tagged both Matthew and Tori Butler-Hart in. But what I said in that tweet was I found the film inventive and mostly coherent, which Matthew Butler-Hart took in good humour. So this obviously stuck in my mind. And when I saw that Matthew Butler-Hart had this new film DAGR out and it was going to be an in-person Q&A, I thought, okay, let's check out this film DAGR. And I went to the Q&A and I reminded the Butler-Harts of this tweet, which once again they took in good humour. But that review of Infinitum Subject Unknown, which I gave a couple of years ago, is basically the same thing I can say about this film DAGR. It's inventive and it's mostly coherent. And that might sound like it's damning with faint praise, but I actually did really appreciate this film. I mean, clearly this is a film that was made on a budget. And having a new version of a found footage type film, that is rather intriguing in the modern day, because when the found footage genre was kind of invented or popularised by the Blair Witch Project, it had so many imitators following it. But I really, really hope that more people realise that one of the first that really broke out the found footage genre is The Last Broadcast. It's an excellent found footage film and it was done before the Blair Witch Project, so look out for that. But here in 2024, we have a situation where the found footage type of film has found a new lease on life. Because here we are in 2024 and everybody's recording everything. Everybody is on YouTube. I mean, I'm on YouTube. Everybody's recording themselves constantly. So there's always going to be something recording. And even when really, really dangerous shit starts happening, people are still going to be recording. Including the rather obnoxious stars of this film, Riz Moritz and Ellie Duckles, who play a pair of YouTubers whose thing is they are, anti-capitalist pranksters. So what they do is go to rich places and steal stuff. And then they claim they sell it off and donate the money to food banks. But basically, they're internet pranksters. They want to get famous by stealing stuff. And their latest target is a manor house in South Wales where an advertising campaign is being filmed. And they're going to sneak in, pretend to be caterers, and nick stuff. And this advert is being directed by the rather pretentious director who is played by Tori Butler-Hart, who is kind of an equal star of the film alongside Ellie Duckles and Riz Moritz. But this is, a very self-important director who is shooting on black and white 16mm film and is ostentatiously name-dropping Godard. So she's that kind of person, that kind of director. But by the time Riz Moritz and Ellie Duckles come up, and put all cameras around the property, bad stuff has already happened. And these are people who are obnoxious, as I said, and are filming themselves constantly. Even when Ellie Duckles goes off and has a pee, she still films herself, which I thought was a very, very telling moment. And yeah, bad shit starts happening, which is possibly related to an 18th century lord of the manor who was interested in the standing stone, which is nearby. And DAGR DAGR is Welsh for dagger. And there's Welsh language stuff which happens when creepy cowled figures show up. And yeah, I think this is a type of film. I mean, as I said, nowadays people are always filming themselves anyway. So the found footage genre has a new lease on life. And one thing which is constantly a question whenever a found footage film comes up is, why are they still filming? And so many found footage horror movies break that rule. I mean, at a certain point, you would just drop the camera. But here with these specific people, this specific group of people, or two groups of people, on one hand, the YouTubers who are filming absolutely everything, including when they need to go to the bathroom, and the pretentious advertising director who just wants loads and loads of B-roll. Let's have some behind-the-scenes stuff as well. So both of these groups are people who would naturally keep filming. So that creates the right kind of atmosphere. And eventually, throughout the course of this film, we have kind of nesting pieces of footage. We have people who are filming people who are filming people who see other stuff. I mean, eventually there's also a VHS tape from 1998, I think it was, of a professor who investigates Lord Somerton. And I couldn't help thinking of Lord Summerisle from The Wicker Man when that came up. But that piece of footage is on a very old cathode ray TV and a VHS tape, which just randomly starts playing, which gives us kind of an exposition dump to a certain degree, but it's layers within layers within layers of filming. And it creates a really eerie atmosphere, because what we have is different types of footage which would naturally occur and would naturally continue in this kind of environment. And it basically works. I mean, yes, I think there is a little bit of an abstract feel. I mean, like the fact that this piece of footage with this professor, who was actually also was kind of the moderator of the Q&A, even though it was just friends chatting with each other. But he's the professor on screen, and that piece of footage just starts on its own randomly when people are already freaking the fuck out. And bad things have happened and deaths have happened on screen by that point. And yeah, it's eerie. And I say eerie because it doesn't quite fit together and I don't think it's supposed to. I think it's possible to cobble together a headcanon, a narrative from all the pieces of footage which are already existent. But to do so, I think would slightly miss the point of this film. Because what this film is atmospheric. We are in a constant state of tension. We are in a constant state of fear. As somebody in the Q&A pointed out, there's a lot of use of mirrors and reflections in this. We see things from the corner of our eye in a mirror just as we're going past, and oh shit, what the fuck was that? And there's this cowled figure who starts showing up and starts vibrating, almost as if the people seeing him in front of them, he's glitching in front of them, and it's not just on the cameras, although there is glitching on the cameras as well. It's like he's glitching in real life, which is a really, really eerie kind of atmosphere. And things I don't think quite fit together, but I really don't think they're supposed to. And I think it's actually a feature, not a bug. I don't think it quite fits together. I mean, like I said, it's very inventive and it's mostly coherent, which became kind of a mantra for the Q&A because I was the first person to ask a question. But I think that is what the Butler-Harts do. They create really inventive, really clever scenarios and then play with them to and slightly beyond the breaking, which in my mind is perfectly fine, because the flavours that you get, the ideas that occur to you in a film like this are really impressive. I was genuinely creeped out at certain points. It's not one of those films where it's jump scare, jump scare, jump scare, jump scare, which is the kind of film, the horror film, I just don't like. It's more, creeping tension, creeping atmosphere, and occasionally something really fucking creepy happens. And also, really disturbing things happen in a really matter-of-fact way as well. I think there's the right level of understatement in this film, Dagger, which I found really, really impressive. And in general, I do find this film really, really impressive. This film was made for £30,000, which is absolutely nothing in the modern film industry. The location, which is just in the Brecon Beacons in South Wales, they got on Airbnb and said, hey, do you mind if we film your thing? Or he said, right, well, here are 2 weeks where we can give you the house. So they had to film this in 2 weeks. And yeah, the inventiveness behind the scenes as well, just even getting this film made. I did notice that Sir Ian McKellen is listed as an executive producer on this film as well. So, he's worked with the Butler-Harts a lot in the past, as has Conleth Hill. And yeah, this is the kind of plucky underdog film which I really want to highlight, I really want to promote. And it is the reason why I decided to start this occasional series, Mining for Diamonds. Let's see how many of these I actually end up doing. But when I feel the need, when I feel I want to promote a film like this, I will do one of these reasonably short videos. And Dagger will be, and I'm not sure if you can see that, but I nabbed a poster on my way out, so that's going to be a continued reminder of this film. And yeah, I do like this film, Dagger. I think it's certainly worth watching. It's certainly worth supporting and publicising. I think in my personal trifold system of yay, nay, or meh, I think this lands as a very strong, a very striking meh. I think it doesn't quite reach that exceptional level, but it's certainly worth watching. There are moments in this film which genuinely freaked me the fuck out. And I'm a coward. I mean, I'm not necessarily a fan of horror movies, but this one got me on several different levels and at several different times. So, yeah, DAGR is going to be coming out within a few weeks as this is being recorded in the USA, Canada, Australia and New Zealand. It's coming out on the 2nd of April 2024, and here in the UK and Ireland it's coming out on the 8th of April 2024 on streaming platform, and I do recommend it. So there we have the first episode of Mining for Diamonds. We'll have to see how many of these I ever end up doing, but I did want to promote and publicise this tiny British independent horror film. So yes, DAGR for me is a very high mare, and I think I'll leave it there. And all that remains for me to say is this has been a presentation of the Yay, Nay or Meh channel, and I will see you next time where I shine a light on cinema, both obvious and obscure.